The accident happened just on the corner of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I just went home, I slept, and when I woke up, I couldn't move. And then all of this sensation on the body of like, this is
pain.
I always felt like if I stop, then everything is going to fall apart.
The crash.
It was a bit of an acknowledge of you are not that important.
So, how did you discover this TRE? What can it help us do if we start incorporating these on a daily basis?
This practice came because I have this traumatic experience that I was afraid to drive. And then someone shared with me, this practice is something that it could work very good for you.
Yeah.
And especially for this post-traumatic experience or stress.
Yeah. Why here? And why in our hips? Why is this region so important for our awareness of what's going on in our body?
If you imagine yourself receiving a sad news, for example, what is your physical reaction?
To
cocoon.
Yeah.
Protect. When we cocoon, we are giving this information to the body to protect. When we expand, we are giving the information to the body to just, we feel safe.
In my case, I've done a lot of therapy from the mind, from reading, from the intellect, from, I guess, the ego. I'm an expert in my trauma, but that process doesn't help me release it at all. The patterns are not being broken by having a PhD in your trauma. And something that I realized, and the reason I connected with your work so much, is because I need to integrate this in my body. I am completely disconnected from it. It's fragmented. I am lying to myself thinking that I am healing, whereas there is so much dirt there. There is so much tension and so much to explore and so much to feel that is waiting for me to feel it.
It's like, no, come back to your breath, come back to your heart, and be present. And from this space, just like take action, but not just with the mind. Okay? When we start becoming overwhelmed, when we start becoming like stressed, is when the mind is thinking in future scenarios. So in those spaces, we don't have the tools. So whenever this starts to happen, just come back to the present and then deal with everything from that space. Everything is within you.
This is Create What Matters. Hello. Thank you for being here for one more episode at Create What Matters. I'm really excited to be doing and to continue to do more episodes and for life to allowing me to bring more of these conversations that feel so valuable. So thank you for showing up. I'm Ale, and the creator of this beautiful podcast. This is a space for conversations, for inner growth, for working on our heart, working on our bodies, working on designing our lives. I'm really happy because actually this week, 1 year ago, we started this project. And I'm very thankful for all the people that support. Sako, Stefan, and Mark, Kevin, and all the friends and the guests that have been so gracious and generous with their time. Today, we're doing one more series of our international conversations. I've had the chance to do conversations in Mexico City, in Medellin, Colombia, and life has granted me this gift of being able to spend almost 6 weeks in Ubud, in Bali. And this conversation today is even more special because I've been able to get in contact with different amazing teachers working on profound healing and changes and supporting people from all over the world. So today is one more conversation around that. And I want to introduce who is going to be with us today. Laura Rodenas is my guest today. She is an expert in somatic healing. She is a yoga teacher that runs retreats all over the world. I was able to meet her at a somatic healing hip opening experience. I really connected with her work in how to download to our bodies and how to connect with our healing through what is happening with us, with our bodies, with our hips. So Laura runs retreats all over the world. She is based in Bali. She just came back from doing a retreat in Australia. So her work is very profound into connecting and integrating so many parts. She works at Yoga Barn. She creates many beautiful experiences on this path of inner healing, inner resilience, and self-love. Laura, it's a pleasure to be with you today. I haven't shared many moments with you, but I think the moments that I have shared with you have been quality ones. So I really connected to your work at Yoga Barn. I was able to do a class with you, and now I'm very grateful to have this conversation with you today. So welcome, and thank you for this space and time. How are you arriving today? I know energy and presence is important to you, so that's the first question I want to ask you.
And arriving to this space with a lot of gifts, actually. We just went
How
for
generous.
yes. Life has been very general with me lately. So we just went for a nice walk. We have some nice Indian food.
Nice.
So we had a beautiful conversation before entering here, and yeah, so it feels very grounded, very
Beautiful.
present.
Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you for being with me. You have moved from a career in architecture back when you were living in London, and from designing architectural spaces to creating spaces for inner healing. Different type of architecture. I want to start with the question of what led you to make such a profound shift from corporate architecture in the UK, kind of like this quote unquote path of success, toward yoga and somatic healing. What's the story behind it?
Well, there is so many layers on that story. It's not something that happened from one day to another. I think it was kind of a path that it was slowly just fading and just entering this new opening, new truth, no, or like new closer to my real truth.
Yeah.
It was a big explosion. Was one of the accident that we were talking before and during the workshop. But I think like all the time it's being always there. Like this curiosity, this opening, it's coming from my family itself. They are also like very seekers, but it was a period of time that I needed to do my own self-discovery, and I choose to go through this career path and goal-oriented and do. And then it was a moment that life showed me, maybe you need to stop and just see what else is there.
So you were doing many things at a time, and you were living a full life, nonstop. Everything is around chasing success. And you had an accident that was a breaking point that made you say, I need to change my life. So the origin was this sacrum injury while you were biking, and a car hit you. And you had this injury that profoundly transformed the way you understood pain, movement, and emotional resilience. So what happened in your body and in your perception when you got injured?
I know it that I was getting hit, so my body was preparing for it.
Oh, wow.
And once I landed, the first thing is like standing up and say, I'm fine. Everything's okay. Everything is under control.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. This is just like, what? That's it. And then just like kind of like slow down and say, okay, is something going on? But I wasn't ready to see that. My mind was so much in the future, no? And like, but I have all of these things to do. Like I cannot just stop to take care of this right now. So it was like, just go home, sleep.
I can't afford to be injured.
Yes, like this is not, it didn't happen, no? Like just sleep over and like we will figure out tomorrow. So I just said no to go to any hospital, any kind of help. And I decided I just want to go home. It was just, the accident happened just on the corner of my house. So I just walked there like with all the, adrenaline in the
from
body.
the accident,
Yes.
from being run over.
Exactly. And or fly over.
Fly over.
Yes.
But
probably it was more shock
you were
for the
biking,
people
right?
see me around.
Yeah, you got up and so I'm fine.
Yes, fine. Nothing happened. So I just went home. I slept, and when I woke up, I couldn't move. Like I couldn't stand up, I couldn't walk, and then all of this sensation on the body of like, this is,
this is
this
pain.
is the place where you have to look, where you have to sit with it. There is no escape.
Yeah, because you cannot move.
Because I could not move.
Yeah.
The first sensation was like, I'm not afraid. It was like, it's okay. Let's observe the body. And the body felt that it was like okay, like it was not scratches, it was like not real show of big injuries, and I just felt like okay, I just need to listen. And immediately this like connection with the body and this sensation of is the time to stop everything. It was a bit of an acknowledge of you know, you are not that important. You know, like I always felt like if I stop, then everything is going to fall apart.
The crash.
And in this moment, it was this sensation of, okay, it's time to stop. Just observe yourself. Just see what is going on in your body. Listen and heal that space. And just this constant reminder of you are not important, not that important.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Did you have a yoga practice or spiritual
used to
practice at the
have-
time?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
It was part of my routine. What I said, I was very fortunate to
Yeah.
born in the family that I
Yeah.
born. That they
Your
were
family already gave this to you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This
My grandma
openness,
was
this exploration.
yeah. My grandma was a yoga practitioner.
Ah, amazing.
She was the one gifting me the first book, one of these old yellow books. And my uncles, they've been doing a lot of self work, very profound work. So that space was a meeting with my ancestors in a way of like, okay, let's meet with this and let's acknowledge all this information that is been slowly drop by drop is been arriving in my life, and that I didn't have this time to actually integrate it.
Yeah.
And that process was that time. And yeah, I decided to go to back home. I decided to meet again with my family. My cousin, they said to me like, wow, we just met, we have a new cousin, you know, because I really never give so much time. It was always this goal and do, and you have to achieve outside of the nest.
Yeah.
Right. And
so you went back home.
I went back home. That's where the
You
real
went back
work
to the
is.
origin. Yeah. Usually when we go back home is when we start understanding.
Yeah.
If you want to know whether you or not you're spiritual, I dare you to go back home, because that will push a lot of buttons.
Definitely. Yeah.
And this is the process where you started listening to your body. What did your body reveal to you? This also came with the realization that you were noticing that your hips were holding more than physical pain. So this listening to the body came with this connection, and especially connected around the hip area. You hit your sacrum at the end.
Yeah, so the accident was directly in the sacrum. The coccyx was rotated. So that's why no external damage, but internally I couldn't move and function because of the disbalance in the spine.
Yeah.
When I acknowledged this, like all the work that I had to do to heal was through the hips. Just for at the beginning, it was only just for the physical, like, and for the, you know, just to be rebalanced and to have like just a functional body, right? And it was a process of like few years. At the beginning, it was like osteopath, physiotherapy, doing like some yoga therapy. So instead of going to a bit more intense yoga practice, I will go to the like soft yoga sessions. And all of this was like starting to transform the way that I was reacting to things, the way that I was taking things.
Okay. In your life.
In my life.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's something that I can acknowledge after years.
So you started seeing that this process and this work also started changing things on the outside, like the way you were relating.
Exactly. Yeah. It was not, I was not aware of that when it was happening.
You got aware of the connection.
I could see later on that it's like,
in retrospect.
That was the point, you know, because it's where everything started to just shift the way of reacting, right? The way of like guiding myself, the way of taking decision.
Yeah. And in this case, you say that what this process, this personal recovery process, has now evolved into your own therapeutic system to help others make the same connection that you made in your body. So what is this method about? How did you integrate this scientific understanding into this process that you call the deep hip opening method? What is this method about for someone that has never even thought of what is happening on their hips?
This practice has come from a lot of years of self-healing, and after, let's say, like 5-6 years of like self-exploration and seeing my path just changing, then this yoga retreat, like so many things start to materialize. And it was in at the beginning of the stage in some of the retreats that some people, they were asking, oh, I have some lower back pain, or I have like some disbalance in this and this. And I was like, okay, maybe we can try some of these things. This is what I use for my personal practice, but maybe it can be beneficial for you. And then slowly, it's how it was developed. Just by start to seeing that some of these techniques, they were actually very powerful when I was sharing with others. And this practice, for someone that doesn't know what we are talking about, somatic is when we allow the body to feel. So when we are not just connecting with the mind, with the understanding through the mind, when we just allow like the process to be in this body, to be like grounded, to be here, like because so many times we just go into the mind to try to understand so many things, and there is a point that we cannot reach to more clarity, right? And it feels like we are just in loops. So when we calm down to the body, there is only one option, just to feel it, right? And that's it.
To feel what it is.
So it's not like good or bad, it's just what it is. And that's just stay there and just observing all the impermanence.
And not run away from it.
Not run away, just be there, no? So this process is, as we say, it's like a healing journey of like going from osteopathy, physiotherapy, through yoga therapy, through meditation, silent contemplation, until the yoga philosophy itself of surrender. So it's a journey of like a traditional practice of yoga, where I focus a lot in this understanding of the self, where there is no good or bad. What I said, no?
It's just more accepting what the body is showing, the emotions that are coming up, the sensations. Because I think we often also avoid these sensations. They feel so scary, and so too much feeling can feel very scary. So we evade ourselves.
Yes, of course. Like generally, like in sessions, no, like as a holding a space, what I experience is this: like when we just quiet the mind, when we observe, there is a lot of emotion arising. No, there is places that you not want to really go, or places that you never even go before, and then you enter, and it's like, wow. No? What is there?
And you call this the body or the hips as the body's emotional vault, storing years of tension, suppressed emotion, and past experiences. It's a very powerful image, the fact that we are holding everything in our hips. So why here? Why in our hips? Why is this region so important for our awareness of what's going on in our body?
Well, if you imagine yourself receiving sad news, for example, what is your physical reaction?
To
cocoon.
Yeah.
Protect. Goes in the hips.
To do this, no?
Yes.
To like.
So everything is always like this area is when we cocoon, we are giving this information to the body to protect. When we expand, we are giving the information to the body to just, we feel safe. So this area is like, it's already giving so much information constantly to the body. And like, as women, no? Like, just being in this society, we are already conditioned and like oppressed through so many layers.
Of course.
And this area is a big space that is like, in so many ways, it's like a taboo. No? So we are already like suppressing, oppressing, closed. This is not good. We don't need to, like always protection, right? So this already, just by default, even if no big cases happen like during our life, by default already we are carrying a lot of things. Later lineage, no? Like when we are having like Like I have some experience, for example, of like cases where I have some patient that they come and they say like, I have this connection always with my ex-partners, and they are all like, you know, sexual abuse, this kind of like bad dark energy partners that it create this like very toxic environment dynamic. And then I ask, how was the life of your mom, you know? And it's, yeah, she also suffered from sexual abuse. How is the life of your grandma? Yeah, she also suffered. All of this lineage, we are also
carrying it here, heritage.
Yeah, yeah. So when we decide to, okay, I'm going to observe, you know, I'm not going to just keep looking to another side because it feels pain.
Yeah.
Then in that space is where you still start informing to your body that you feel safe, that you are ready to dive in, to ready to start like observing. And just by observing, by acknowledging, you're already softening, right? And later we have all the different techniques, like in the somatic movements, when we just allow the body to just express itself. And when we are able to make our body feel so safe that it can express itself without any condition and without any control of the mind, that is where the release and it starts happening.
And you ask a powerful question. What if your tight hips are holding more than just tension? What deep healing processes or stories can you share from your experience on people who are doing this work? I was reading also the other day this post on, I think it was on TikTok, or about a somatic healer who said you cannot heal in 3 sessions. It's not like a pill you take and eventually you're gonna clean your body. So all of this tension that's being holded, that we hold here, what stories can you say in terms of the process? If we're carrying so much, can we release it all? Is it possible? We can?
Well, this is a purification process.
It's a purification
Once we
process.
release everything, it's time to go.
It's time to go.
This is the process. That's one of the reasons we're here. In the yoga philosophy, we define the path of yoga as a purification process.
Yeah.
Once you connect with your soul, when you connect with this truth, then it's the time to live. It's samadhi.
To live.
Liberation. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the same in every concept. As I said, this practice is just a different, like another invitation or like a different form of presentation, but it's coming all from the same traditional philosophy of yoga.
Yeah.
So the intention is to purify the soul,
your soul,
and to reach to this liberation state of the mind and the soul, right?
Yeah.
When we start working, let's say as a physical, the beginning, agree, like in 3 sessions, of course, you're just going to awake something, you're going to feel it, it's going to be an experience, right?
Yeah.
You're going to feel, wow, what happened, right? But then it's like, okay, we just close it, we continue the life, we just rush, and then it's like, well,
it's the same thing. You go back to your life.
This is all like the same, like when we talk about yoga. It's about consistency. Consistency is tapas.
It has to be a practice.
It have to be a practice, of course. It's something like when you wash your teeth, you know? It's something that is part of your daily routine, and it's going to become your daily life. You know? It's not that you sit in the mat and you do these postures, or like you do this practice, or you go to see your therapist, or your whatever you are seeing, and just this hour finish, and then you just forget about what happened. It's all about how we integrate this in our life, so that every moment, every action, it become a purification.
Right.
You know? So with this practice, what it helped me is to go in that path. To see how every action, it's like it can be a purification. It's not just like, oh, we just do. No, it's like everything, if you observe, it have a sensation, it have an awakening, it have like a positive, negative impact, you know, but it is what it is.
You're talking about presence, that this should be a habit. What message would you send to someone that is exploring this path?
What I would like to share is like, when we enter in this somatic work, when we enter in the practice, the most important is to go through the softness. Okay, so not through push or force. Exactly. So when we force, we contract. When we start softening, we start inviting the safetyness.
Okay.
So the body start reacting in a much more safe
In a safer
way, and they give you access to these deeper levels.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah,
That is very important and profound, to not do it by force. And that's where you say that you speak of allowing the hips to tell their own story. And what happens in these processes? So I've been in your class, but I would like to for you to help us describe, if for anyone who would be interested in a session of opening their hips and connecting to this somatic healing, what happens in a session? What is the process that people might find? Or walk us through a little bit of how that works.
So we have different dynamics. There is the group dynamic and there is the private, like one-to-one dynamic. You explore both of them. And so in the group dynamics, we try to go start very gently, always just grounding ourselves, just feeling the body, start disconnecting a bit from the mind, and start bringing the sensation to the body, the attention to the body. And then we enter in the exploration, right? When we are going to start observing the activation of the muscles and releasing of that muscles. So the intention for me in most of the session, especially when we are in a group, is to enter in the releasing of the psoas muscle. So the psoas muscle is the key word in this space.
Yes.
Especially when we are working in trauma release through the hips. The psoas muscle is the muscle that is carrying more stories. Is the one that is the muscle that we use for fight and flight.
Okay.
So we are not really going into that muscle in the softness. So what my intention in this space that I create, that I invite this safetyness, is to access from a space of softness into this muscle and then release. Because we always use it just to walk, or when there is some action, then we start run, no? And then it's this contraction. So it's always contract, strong. There is not this releasing. And then when we don't get the access to the release, because we have all the rest of the muscles that they're protecting. So
they're very tense.
They are very tense. They are protecting. We are always the glutes, the abductor muscles, all of them, they're just protecting the psoas muscle. Yeah. So we have to invite first the softness.
The softness is super important.
Safetyness in the rest of the muscles. So that's the second part of the session. And then the third part, when we connect with the body, when we relax the body, we enter in the trauma release part. That is when we just allow the body to express itself. And just slowly with practice, is something that not happening from one moment to another moment. It's something that require just patience. So we work with the nervous system, with the muscle tissue. We don't work with the speed of the ego. And the ego is very impatient. So when we work with somatic, when we work with trauma release, it comes to your question. In 3 sessions, you're just going to experience it. You're going to be like, wow, I felt my toes. Some people, I was like, wow, I didn't feel my toes for so long. But when you go deeper in this work, you're going to start feeling how you react, how you take decision. You're not going to be conscious what is happening, but the purification process is already taking place. Wow. And after 1-2 years, you will look back and it's like, that's where everything happened.
So you start transforming little by little through daily practice. So it's not I go to a workshop and magic happens, but no, I incorporate these practices onto my daily life. So I got the fortune to actually do a session with you where we explored this process of softening the psoas or connecting with the softness, and then through this process of shaking also, that I didn't expect. I've never experienced that in my life, to then releasing trauma and observing what was happening. Why the shaking? I've heard many practices that do shaking as a release. Why is the shaking important as part of the process of releasing what is happening or stored in our bodies?
So this practice is very simple. If you visualize like one dog or one small kid, that they go through, imagine that they just went through an accident, they went through some small traumatic situation. The first reaction that you are going to observe on them, they will shake their body. They will just, they shake and they continue with their life. And that's it. And they forget about what happened, they continue. So, but when we observe, like in ourselves, when we grow, in a small situation, big situation, traumatic situation, first thing we do is like, I'm cool. What I did with my accident. It just something huge happened. And the first thing is like, I have it under control. Everything is fine. I don't show any sign of weakness because I'm going to be judged otherwise. Because society is...
I need to perform.
Exactly. It's constantly, you have everything under control. So this shake is the natural mechanism of the body to release. So this practice is just re-educating the system, just to give the information to the mind and to the body that it's okay. It's okay.
To allow.
But we need to create these safe spaces because we are educated of like, no, you cannot show your weakness, right? And when we shake, it's so like a big weakness, like I'm going through something huge, like I don't want that the people know. So in this space that we create, they are like curated, they are like safe for everybody to express without the fear of being judged.
Oh, that's very that's very important. Right. So then the body starts softening because I am releasing anything that is happening within me.
Exactly.
I love the process of softness and surrendering that happens because you start shaking and then your body in a way starts doing its own kind of like magic. You're not controlling the body. It starts doing it on its own. So your mind says, no, I'm controlling it, but not. Your body starts releasing. So it's a beautiful process of kind of like softness and surrendering. And I want to segue into a big topic that you talk about, which is TRE and somatic trauma release, which is what we're talking about. All of these exercises, as I understand them, are trauma release exercises that you incorporate in your sessions. So how did you discover these TRE or TRE exercises? What can it help us do if we start incorporating these on a daily basis? There's so much talk about balancing our nervous systems and healing our nervous system. How can this practice help us do that?
This practice, I always encourage everybody to bring it to their daily life. It's fantastic. I mean, I discovered this through my healing process. I start practicing and then I start seeing the benefits. This practice came because I have this traumatic experience through that I was afraid to drive.
You were afraid to drive? After the accident.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and then someone shared with me, this practice is something that it could work very good for you. And especially for this post-traumatic
stress
experience or stress. So I was like, okay, let's go for it. Let's try. And then I start just attending some sessions, like going to some seminars, being more and more curious, talking with my cousin that he's like a psychologist and sharing about all of this somatic that was like almost 10, 12 years ago. So it was in the very, very beginning of the stage when everything it was a bit like, is it true? It's not true. So I was just navigating through intuition and just felt like, okay, it's something that feels like very safe and there is not anything bad that can come from it. So I'm just going to give a try. And it was a big process of just sitting with it, what we are talking, just surrender, just sit with it, just like move and just allow. And then it was when you start sitting with it, there is a lot of conversation that come after that. So it's not just the action of the practice, it's also to be held by someone that once you want to ground or integrate after the practice, you have this grounding conversation about what happened and you open up. It's like psychologists, right?
Yeah.
It's not even about what the psychologist is going to tell you, if not when you start hearing yourself in loud. And that's when you start just like removing and be like, yeah, I'm done with this.
So putting words behind the experience that you had, naming the experience in a way, the things that you're releasing, the things that you're feeling.
Yes. Yeah. So when I work in one-to-one, this is something that I also like. It's not obligatory. Like everybody have their own ways to integrate it, right? But so many people, especially at the beginning, they have this urge to just share, right? So that's why
share.
they just went through something and they just very open to really go through like some layers that before they never really been brave enough to just
share and connect
about it. Or even just them to see around that side.
Yes.
So it's open all of these spaces. That's why in a psychology session, it can be super beneficial, this practice, as well as a tool to connect with your patients.
Definitely.
Because it's bring you down to the body. It's bring the person to a safety space, and that from that space you can have the counseling, you can have these conversations, right?
And I think a lot of the psychology is now, in my case, I've done a lot of therapy from the mind, from reading, from the intellect, from, I guess the ego. I'm an expert in my trauma. I can write books about it. I can tell you exactly where and when and how and what produced. But that process doesn't help me release it at all. The patterns are not being broken by having a PhD in your trauma. And something that I realized, and the reason I connected with your work so much, is because I need to integrate this in my body. I am completely disconnected from it. It's fragmented. I am lying to myself thinking that I am healing, whereas, and we did that in our session, and I'm open about it, there is so much dirt there. There is so much tension and so much to explore and so much to feel that is waiting for me to feel it. You also share something interesting, which was it's not about going to a yoga class and okay, I'm healed, that's it, but about having a space and time for yourself every day. If someone would want to start with feeling and this therapy, what would you say is one simple way in which people can start with this nervous system regulation at home and this daily practice?
A simple practice is just body scanning. When you wake up in the morning in your bed, just check how the body feels today. Observe the sensation in your toes, the feet, legs, torso, every part of the body. Just check how it feels. And then from there you stand up. And then you start your day from that space. So with acknowledge.
Acknowledging what is happening within you. And you also talk about activating the parasympathetic nervous system, shifting from stress towards a deep relaxation. Would body scanning also help with that? Or in which ways can I start relaxing? Or what is a daily practice that you have to connect every day?
One very good practice, a part of the body scanning, is to observe your breath. Simple practice is the most powerful practice. There is no decoration and there is no need to entertain. Just like simple things, simple habits, it's going to make a huge impact. Just to observe the pattern, just like to observe that big belly breathing, and contract. But not just like, just breathe quickly, because normally what we do is just shallow breath, right? So many people in this generation, especially because we have to be like flat stomach, they have reverse breathing. So they inhale and they put the belly in and the chest open. And then exhale and they expand the belly and they put the chest in. So wrong.
It's the inverse. It's the opposite.
And then what happened with this lack of oxygen? Stress in the organs. stress in the mind because we don't get enough oxygen. The whole system disbalance, and we are like, we are so stressed,
gasping for air all the time.
We have like anxiety, and everything begin from the breath.
Everything starts with the breath. Yeah. So the somatic practices with observing the breath, this is something that we can do every single day. And now I want to move on to something that you are connected to as well, which is the power of silence and retreats. You organize retreats based on silence or rooted in the tool of silence, inspired by the teachings of Ben Mahasi Sayadaw. And after all this work with movement and release, how does silence play a role here? What is so
silence
important?
is one of the most healing tools. When we sit quiet in contemplation is where the things arise. And when we are quiet in contemplation, we are able to see them. And when we see them, then we are able to just solve it or like let go or just take action. No? But the important is to see.
And what happens in a silent retreat exactly? Is it a Vipassana retreat or how does it operate? What you just came back from Australia doing one. What would happen on a daily basis on a silent retreat?
So, yeah, in the silent retreat through my lineage is a Vipassana. So Vipassana is not only the centers that we know 10 days silent Vipassana. Vipassana is a practice from Buddhism in different lineage discipline. They have like a bit of different variation, but basically Vipassana means insight meditation. So it's a state. Okay? It's not a practice that we do. We practice concentration. We do practice of concentration to reach to the state of Vipassana. Or meditation. Okay. So the intention in these retreats is about that. It's about starting the day with a meditation, gentle guidance, and especially focus in silent. So small guidance, small techniques. We teach every day one different technique. And then we have like a bit of like 45 minutes sometime, like 30 minutes, depends of the day and the practitioners, to just integrate that practice, this technique, and then go through it. So every morning we start with the meditation. Then we have like a asana, like conscious movement coming from the yoga therapy. So not like a performance practice, if not just a practice that is going to help us to feel more comfortable when we are sitting. Then after that, we have some other practice, like using different tools as like contemplation in nature, just like sitting, just like observing a flower, observing nature, just being aware of your surrounded. And we have yoga nidra sessions as well. Yeah, and then in the evening we have asanas, we have like meditation to close the day. So it's all like very gentle practice, focus in the sitting, focus in the meditation, but bringing a bit of elements of mindfulness to make the whole experience a bit more gentle. So it's not like a 10 days where you just sit for 11 hours. In these retreats, it's like for everybody. It's not for expert meditators. It's for people like us, like householding, you know, like people that they don't have so much flexibility, people that have a lot of flexibility as well, you know. It's people from different backgrounds that they want to just take one step, sit with themselves, and just find a bit of truth, you know, a bit of a space. So
to observe what is happening with them, to connect with themselves more.
When we enter in silence, what I say is one of the most powerful tools for release, for
is
like
silence.
healing. Yes, silent.
And you also believe in another tool, which is yoga as a way of life. You mentioned that if you were to start yoga again, you wouldn't begin with flexibility or headstands, but with the way you treat life. We see so many, we're in Bali, we see all of these retreats, people posting photos all the time of the asanas and all of the postures and the immersions. Tell us about this vision of yoga beyond the mat.
Yeah, when we talk about yoga in the West, it's all about asanas. It's all about the posture, how you perform it. But if you go in the philosophy of yoga, the asana is a very small point in one of the the point of yoga, you know? So yeah, the philosophy of yoga is like a huge is lifestyle, as you say. I could just talk for hours. It's something that I teach as well, so I can talk a lot about philosophy of
And
yoga.
you come from the philosophy from South India. You come from the heritage and the lessons from a specific region in India. You're married to a yogi. You're a yogi and married to a yogi yourself. So you both live and embody a life and a lifestyle beyond the mat, beyond the asanas of embodied yoga practice. How does that look like for you on your daily life?
I think once you start having these habits, because everything become a habit, like we're still humans. When you start doing a bit of repetition, you know, when we say like have your daily practice. So once you have your repetition for a certain time, this practice become integrate in your daily days. So it's not something that you have to remember all the time. Oh, I didn't do that. I have to do it. It's something that is just happen. So this is our normal day. We live ashram lifestyle, like we eat 2 meals a day. We have like we wake up very early. We go to sleep very early. We try to communicate always from a space of truth, from a space of what feels good, and there is no so much of this behind the scene, right? So try to keep the mind clean from judgment. Try to keep the mind clean from like expectations. It's always a work, you know, in process. I still didn't reach that stage, still in purification. But this is the part that is feels that is being much more integrated nowadays. And it's not something that I have to keep reminding myself to do, something that is like happen, no? So
that is part of who you are.
Yes, at the moment it's just like very integrated. So this life, it's all about communicating from your heart.
Yeah, you also say yoga is not about staying in the light, but meeting the darkness within it. If I were to ask you to perhaps give a message as we're closing the session to people who might be going through hard times and stuck in their mind, in their mental loops, in a lot of pain, and they know that their body is speaking in many ways. Maybe they had an accident, maybe there's a disease emerging, maybe there's a lot of stress. What would you tell them from this beautiful philosophy of yoga where it's about staying with the darkness and sitting with the darkness? What could you share with someone that is listening on that end?
I would say the first thing to acknowledge your body, to find a bit of safetyness in those spaces that they don't feel pain, and just move the awareness a bit from those spaces that feels that there is a bit of like good feeling or non-pain, and then move to the places that it feels a bit of pain, and just shift from one space to another space. So just feel how the safetyness is feeling, how the pain is feeling, and this is all part of you. So just be with it. It's everything. It's okay.
So it's okay to sit with you and integrate then your body, your mind, and energy. Laura, I know we have like so much to cover, the physical part, the emotional, the somatic part. I want to ask you, what are you creating in 2026? Where can people find you? I feel that a lot of what you do, more than talking about it and you're describing everything so beautifully, is something that you have to experience and feel in your body, because we can talk about books and from the mind, but it has to be experienced here in your body. What are you creating this year? Where can people find you? You're all over the world as well.
Yes.
If they are interested in connecting with you, either online or in any part of the world.
Yeah, so yeah, yoga is an experiential science. So to understand, you need to feel it, not too much with the mind. We are running retreats in Bali, silent retreat. We run retreats about pranayama to learn how to breathe. We are running a teacher training program that is about trauma-informed yoga. So how we safely provide yoga, not only the adjustment, how do we talk about it, how we create safetyness around the session. So going into this trauma release aspect as well. and it's going to be in September here in Bali.
Beautiful.
And then we are running some retreats in Spain,
Yes.
in Morocco, in a few other places. So yeah, if you want to, I would love to invite everybody. If you want to check a bit more, we have our Instagram.
Where can people find you on Instagram or on your website?
We have like Samudra Yoga Space, and there is our Instagram where you will see us. Like we're always posting a few tips, a few reminders to everybody, and you can see also our upcoming programs and offerings.
Thank you. Laura, share with our audience one last message. Anything that comes, that emerges from you, what would you like to share with anyone who is curious about this work, about connecting? What do you feel called to share in this moment?
Well, the first thing is stay curious.
Yeah, beautiful.
And another reminder is the most important is to be present. So when the mind goes, start wandering and we start making plans, always like when we are talking about this topic is plans. It's like, no, come back to your breath, come back to your heart, and be present. And from this space, just like take action, but not just with the mind. Okay? When we are in the present, everything is okay. We have all the tools here to solve anything. When we start becoming overwhelmed, when we start becoming like stressed, is when the mind is thinking in future scenarios. So in those spaces, we don't have the tools, right? So that's why we get like stress. So whenever this start to happen, just come back to the present and then deal with everything from that space because you have all the tools already. Everything is within you. You just need to remember.
Thank you, Laura, so much for your presence, for all of these experiential knowledge. It comes from so many years. Thank you for this space. Thank you for this. I'm looking forward to connecting with you in experience, in the body, in presence. And to you that listen to us today, thank you for being present. Stay with us. Stay in the power of now, as that beautiful book by Eckhart Tolle. Sometimes we suffer in advance for future scenarios that haven't even arrived yet, that our minds imagine. So the invitation today is for you to stay present. If you are listening to us, connect with your breath, connect to this conversation, and also connect to your body and with the beauty of the world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us and for creating what matters. Thank you, Laura, for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.